Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. This is K.t.a.b. Talk podcast. Today's topic is finding out more about Dr. Cornel West. Um, you know, it really amazes me how much people love to be in toxic situations. And I say that because I'm, seeing and hearing people constantly talk about how they want to vote for Trump and this whole war between Trump and Biden. I mean, you guys are being used as tools. You guys are being used as tools. I mean, we all are. You know, you have to see past the BS and realize that whether you vote for Biden or whether you vote for Trump, we are in a sucky, horrible situation as Americans living in America. Okay, so the fact that everyone wants to make this whole presidential contest about Democrat and Republican is horrifying because it just leads me to believe that as a whole, with all of the wisdom that Americans are supposed to have and that we've been taught throughout the years and all the education and going to school, and what did that do? Being told to think for the future, being told to have, you know, foresight, hindsight, and all of this stuff, and what does that do? How does that help if you keep, as a whole country, going after toxic presence and wanting to have a relationship, not a relationship in that way, but want to have, any kind of dealings or frustrations or whatever with that toxic, you know, with their toxic policies. I don't understand it. We know that Biden's policies and, you know, it, it's toxic the way that he's been dealing with this presidency in the way that we've been living for the last few years has not been working for the American people and is toxic. We know that Trump is toxic. He has he has toxic relationships without even being a president. And while he was president, things were toxic. Everything was toxic. The only people who really liked him being president was the alt-right, racist, wannabe gangster, wannabe caveman, wannabe, you know, white Klansman type of people. Those are the only people who really liked it because they get to go back to the wild, wild west and act like they don't have any kind of common sense. Those are the only people that liked it. Okay? And yet, as Americans, we're sitting up here entertaining the idea of electing any one of them for president as if it's something that we should be doing. And I think that as a whole, the American people has a problem with toxic relationships, with toxic people. Toxic mentality. Excuse me, that's my refrigerator. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look up Dr. Cornel Wests. We're going to look up his policies, and we are going to do the hard work of looking for someone else to to be our president, other than the ones that we have currently running as just Democrat and Republican. So if you look up CornelWest2024.com, what you will find is his platform where he talks about his policies on abolishing poverty, his policies on abolishing homelessness. Okay? He has policies that there will be a national jobs program to assure full employment to every person. Okay? That there would be a mandatory minimum of 6 months of fully paid parental leave. That there would be a right to quality for affordable housing. Let me see. For worker justice, he wants to establish a workers' bill of rights that includes the end of right to work states. He wants to, his policy is to make it so that there is greater protections for workers who attempt to unionize. Okay? He wants to end all pay discrepancies based on race, gender, identity, disability status, and etc. Establish a federal commission to institute a 4-day work week. National free pre-K child care. Okay. Environmental justice. Moving beyond the Green New Deal to a global green reconstruction initiative. Constitutional right to clean air, clean water, and health and a healthy environment. Okay. Rescind the toxic provisions of the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. End water privatization. In health justice, he wants to go beyond Medicare for all towards true health justice. Okay. Establish a health bill of rights for disabled people to address and dismantle specific healthcare challenges they face. For racial justice, reparations to address the unpaid debt to Black U.S. residents. Directive to complete the reparations process and findings within 2 years so checks can be cut and sent to eligible recipients. End mass incarceration and codify voting rights for all incarcerated people, and immediately reinstate voting rights for all returning citizens. Address the disproportionate mortality rate for Black pregnancies. Require public review commissions for every police force in the nation. Reinstate Section 4B and Section 5 of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Establish a land back commission to explore and address the brutal land theft from, attempted genocide of, and broken treaties with indigenous people. Transformative justice. Protect free speech, enforce whistleblower protections, and stop the prosecution of those who expose government corruption. Eliminate crowded prison facilities by developing alternatives to incarceration. Prisoner Bill of Rights that includes a right to humane treatment and humane living conditions for all correctional facilities. Voter justice. Make Election Day a national holiday to increase voter turnout and to foster a transparent and robust voting process. Establish automatic voter registration, same-day registration, and the option to use vote by mail or all eligible voters. Create a federal democracy commission to investigate and eliminate undue ballot access impediments for non-candidates. Promote ranked choice voting across the nation. Okay, enact national ban for all former elected officials acting or working as lobbyists. Establish term limits for all elected officials nationwide. Free tuition for all state and community colleges. Minimum wage of $80,000 for all U.S. public school teachers, K through 12. Okay, dismantle the school to prison pipeline by removing police and so-called school resource officers from all public schools. Cancel all student loan debt. Reinstate their fair use of race, ethnicity, and class as a factor for admission to secondary schools and universities. Abolish state laws that limit or remove the full and accurate study of U.S. history. LGBTQIA plus justice. End the unwarranted, unnecessary, and dangerous assaults on transgender people. Gun violence justice. End the gun violence epidemic. National Gun Registry database for all civilians, similar to the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act database for hazardous materials. Establish similar requirements for driver license to gun ownership. Drastically limit the number of sales at gun shows. National Red Flag law that expedites the process of gun confiscation from individuals who pose danger to themselves and communities. I am reading before I speak because I know them, but I just want to read them. Immigration justice. Massive investment in transforming immigration policies to create a broad legal pathway for residency that centers compassion, morality, dignity, and ethics. End crimes against humanity for migrants and their families, no separation of families, no children in cages. Accountability for the U.S.'s role in the migrant crisis. Okay, global justice. Um, Seize all war funding and weapons to Ukraine and invest in peacemaking. Seize military funding to the State of Israel. End Israeli apartheid of Palestinian people and press the UN to establish a program for Palestinian dignity and liberation. Cease all military support to nations committing war crimes. End the global patriarchy and associated violence that oppresses women around the world and stand in solidarity with global women led movements such as those in Afghanistan and Iran. So, those are just a few that I read. There's so much more. He has a lot of things that he stands on and the policies that he stands on. So, like I said, Dr. Cornel West for 2024, he's someone that, we all should be trying to, vote for as president. And it should not be about Trump or Biden. We don't want this race to be between Trump or Biden. Okay, don't be fooled. Don't go for the okie doke. Okay, if you want to find out more about Dr. Cornel West, you can look him up on the cornelwest2024.com. I'll just read you a little bit of what he has here. The Cornel West campaign is to empower poor and working people everywhere. Stands at a pivotal moment in history. Committed to being a true campaign for people around the globe. Our aim is and will always be to unite in solidarity with movements of truth and justice who seek a choice beyond empire, white supremacy, capitalism, patriarchy, and the confines of the corporate dominated two-party system. Regardless of your current political ideology or stance on political matters, we sincerely hope that you can join us in support for this revolutionary political movement. Sorry, I read too fast. Okay, so Dr. Cornel West is a former university professor at Harvard University and professor at Princeton University. It says he graduated magna cum laude from Harvard in 3 years and obtained his MA and PhD in philosophy at Princeton. He is the first Black person to receive a PhD in philosophy from Princeton University. He has written 20 books and he is best known for his classics, Race Matters, Democracy Matters, and for his memoir, Brother West, Living and Living Out Loud. Okay. So, yeah, everyone should check him out. We have a duty to, especially all of us who were born in the 80s and 80s and 90s, we know that it is our duty to make sure that the world continues to go in the way that it's supposed to. Okay, so whatever year that you was born, however things are going for you, you need to know that you can't do anything. You can't do anything when or complain about anything if you don't try. Okay, and with us being duped to only vote for Biden or Trump, knowing full well how everything is going and knowing full well what their real intentions are, We have a duty to vote for someone else. And why not give that vote to Dr. Cornel West? Dr. Cornel West is the best presidential candidate. Unless you are addicted to, you know, toxic ways and toxic people and toxic living, unless you want things to stay the way they are, to where it's hard on you and hard on everyone else and everybody's in an uproar about this and that, then I guess you will vote for Biden or you will vote for Trump. You have another candidate, and that is Dr. Cornel West, and he is the best one. So put your votes out there, put the word out there, Dr. Cornel West for president. Let's push him out there, people. Whatever your situation is, whatever it is that, you find a problem with America today, Dr. Cornel West is the one to help us with those problems. All right, that's my time for right now. I wish everybody the best, and I hope you have a great day. Until we meet again, peace and love.